Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Krantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, and the first text of the chapter. Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohita.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagayamate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohita.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Bhagavam Steva Chosmabhir.
Nasamyak Avagayamate.
Nasamyak Avagamyate.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Kavayastat Vijananti.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Navayam Karma Mohitaha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
Prachina Barhiruvacha.
King Prachina Barhi said,
King Prachinabhati said,
Bhagavan,
Bhagavan,
O my Lord,
O my Lord,
Te, your Vachaha, words, Asmabihi, by us, Na, never, Samyak, perfectly, Avagamyate, are understood, Kavayaha, those who are expert, Tat, that, Vijananti, can understand, Na, never, Vayam, we, Karma, by fruitive activities, Mohitaha, enchanted. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Prachinabarhi replied, My dear Lord, we could not appreciate completely the purport of your allegorical story of King Puranjana. Actually, those who are perfect in spiritual knowledge can understand, but for us, who are overly attached to fruitive activities, to realize the purpose of your story is very difficult. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 7.13, Lord Krishna says, Tribhir kunamair bhavai ebi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabijananti mam evyaparam avyayam. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Generally, people are enchanted by the three modes of material nature, and therefore practically unable to understand that behind all materialistic activities in the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Generally, when people are engaged in simple or pious activities, they are not perfect in knowledge of devotional service. The allegorical story narrated by Narada Muni to King Parishman is especially meant to engage conditioned souls in devotional service. The entire story, narrated allegorically, is easily understood by a person in devotional service. But those who are engaged not in devotional service but in sense gratification cannot perfectly understand it. That is admitted by King Parishman. This 29th chapter describes that by too much attachment for women, one becomes a woman in the next life. But the person who associates with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his representative becomes free from all material attachments and is thus liberated. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhisham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagata Mahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Paladamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Bhaktan Vitam Tam Sachivikam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. After a long time, I'm sitting again here.
Is that your fault? Is that your fault?
My fault. Yes, thank you. But it's never too late to start again, so no harm. But yes, sometimes life takes us in different other routes, different directions. And by Krishna's mercy, He leads us back. Yes, very exciting chapter, exciting part of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm excited to discuss this today. In this first verse of 29th chapter, King Prachina Parisa, he is telling, I don't understand. Narada Muni previously spent the whole chapter explaining the allegory. Sorry, I can't get it. King Prachina Parisa, he actually comes from the line of great devotees, line of pure devotees. And previously, Narada Muni, he delivered everyone in the same line where Prachina Parisa is coming from. Swayambhuva Manu, King Uttanapada, and King Dhruva Maharaj. Well, except King Vena. Everyone else got the darshan of Narada and his mercy and his guidance. And so here Narada says that here is somebody who comes from the same line of great Vaishnavas, but who has lost it, lost the plot. What is the proper thing to do? And so, out of compassion, he wants to come and deliver Prachina Parisa, who is essentially, he's very pious, but he's just too much attached to fruitive activities. And therefore, Narada, as an expert, he comes and sees the situation and knows exactly how to deal with it. So therefore, Narada spoke this allegorical story. He spoke something indirectly. Sometimes people ask if Srimad Bhagavatam should it be taken directly, literally, or allegorically. Well, it should be taken literally. But at the same time, there are some exceptions where allegory is needed because person is just too much materially attached and cannot understand the direct meaning. So therefore, allegory is being used. There's some other occasions when allegory is being used. From 6th canto, when Narada Muni again uses allegory. Anybody remembers? It's just a quiz. Okay, it's when he's speaking to Haryashvas, the sons of Daksha, Haryashvas and Shavalasvas. Because well, first, yes, Daksha had 10,000 sons with the idea of helping him to populate the planet, the universe. Daksha as Prajapati, that's his service to Lord Brahma. And so when they were performing austerities, Daksha sent them to perform austerities, to become good Prajapatis, and then Narada Muni approached them and he told them, actually he just spoke them only a few lines of some allegory. His purpose was to see if they are qualified to be situated in the renounced order, or they will follow the plan of his father and get involved in family life and populate. So therefore he told this allegory, and then Haryashvas, they could immediately understand what Narada Muni indicated and what he meant by this, and they were able to explain it. And then Narada saw, okay, wow, these people are qualified. He was very pleased. And of course, we know the story. Taksha was very angry. Why did you divert my sons to renounced order? But in case of Prachina Parishad, he could see he's not qualified. And why? It is said, actually, he says himself, Navayam karma mohitaha. I'm enchanted by fruitive activities. So this is the reason why somebody can understand and somebody cannot understand. Enchanted by fruitive activities. Too much attachment. Fruitive activities, they are, one can say, you can say, it's a synonymous to bodily conception of life. Fruitive activities, they come from mode of passion, and bodily conception of life comes from mode of ignorance. So they are good companions. They're brothers. Therefore, Prachinapari wasn't able to catch the meaning of this allegory. And what is said here, actually same situation is being described by Prahlad Maharaj later on in 7th canto. There's a verse in 5th chapter when he starts his instructions to his schoolmates. Prahlad Maharaj explains Natevidu Svartakatim hi Vishnum, that what was the verse? Natevidu Svartakatim hi Vishnum Pahir Artamaninas Turashaye Pahir Artamaninas. Good. Actually, I can check it out. Recite the whole verse. Natevidu Svartakatim hi Vishnum Turashaye Pahir Artamanina Antha Yathanthai Upaniyamanas Tepisha Tantriam Urudhamni Badha, which means persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor. Exactly situation of Prachina Parishad, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. So, Natevidu Svartakatim hi Vishnu Turashayaye Pahir Artamanina. Pahir Artha. This is the reason why Prachina Parishad is not able to understand this analogy, this allegory. Pahir means external, outside, and Artha, we generally know this word Artha from Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Artha means material gain, also material prosperity. Anartha, unwanted. Artha, something that is desirable. Pahir Artha Manina. Manina means something that they consider very important. So those who think that happiness is outside of me, I'm looking for happiness and it's somewhere out there. So this is Pahir Artha Manina. And whoever carries this conception in mind that happiness is outside, attainable through my senses. So these type of persons who are never able to understand anything transcendental. And that was exactly the situation of Prajnaparishad. And he was honest. He's telling directly that but for us, those who are overly attached to fruitive activities, to realize the purpose of your story is very difficult. At least he was honest. Srila Prabhupada was very heavy, especially with scientists who rascals. Why? Because Prabhupada said, if you don't know and you say you know, you're a rascal, you're cheated. So, because this is the situation, they claim to be authorities, and every now and then their theory is changed, and everything, school books are changing constantly. like there was a time when the continental shifts was considered total utopia or some imagination, and that's what the teachers were teaching in the school. That if somebody brought up this idea of continental shift, this is nonsense. And then just some years went by, and then it's being taught in the school as a standard. So, as an example, scientists are cheating, but Prajnaparishad, he was at least honest. And he, by the association of Narada, before he was totally illusion bewildered, but by his association, he's able to understand why he cannot understand. What amazing. That we are overly attached to fruitive activities. So, again, fruitive activities, that they cannot see the reality. In his case, it was karma kanda rituals, his fruitive activities. And fruitive activities, it means, although he was pious, but if you take piety and mix with mode of passion, you get religious activities that are aimed at improving material situation, economic prosperity. That's exactly what he was into. Interesting, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions twice. He starts the sentence, generally, people are enchanted by the three modes of material nature, and therefore practically unable to understand that behind all activities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And the next sentence, generally, when people are engaged in sinful or pious activities, they are not perfect in knowledge of devotional service. As I understand this, generally uses this word generally, meaning majority of population. Everyone is in this category of ignorance. And in this story, Puranjana, of King Puranjana, he was a king, so he had everything. Kings are opulent; they have everything they want, but he was unhappy. So he needed a queen. And in this allegory, he accepted as queen the material intelligence. And the material intelligence, what is the purpose of material intelligence? It is to somehow or other get the sense gratification. It's meant to help to hook our senses with the sense objects. This is the purpose of material intelligence. And if one takes, well, in the case of Puranjana, so he accepted the material intelligence as his wife, and his wife, he was under the rule of his wife. the wife was ruling. In other words, material intelligence was ruling. And this is the situation of every person who is trying to enjoy this world. King Puranjana is representing everyone who tries to enjoy this world. And thinking happiness comes from connecting senses with sense objects. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, well, this is actually karma. And the result is one is never satisfied and it burns like fire. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada said, Maya is calling, come on, come enjoy me, and I will kick you in the face. Because Maya has two types of potencies as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anybody remembers? Very good. Nice. We have some scholars in the audience. Exactly, yes. These two types of Shaktis. And also Srila Prabhupada gave himself example of Prakshapadmika Shakti. It's called throwing potency, and Avaranatmika covering potency. For example, Maya is calling devotee, come and enjoy. Why do you serve Krishna? Why not enjoy instead? And then when the devotee is not strong and misuses the free will and chooses to follow Maya's dictation, then another potency, our Anatmika Shakti, is covering over, which means you think in that situation, it's nice. So this is the power of Avaranatmika covering. First, come and enjoy. You're misdirected to a materialistic life from your spiritual position, and then thinking, oh, it's actually nice. Srila Prabhupada actually told a sample from his own life describing these two potencies. He told how his father, Gaur Mahande, he had a servant in their house who helped with household duties, and in order to go to express his gratitude to his servant, Srila Prabhupada's father decided one day to go to visit that servant in his home and express his gratitude for his loyal service in his household. And Srila Prabhupada went with his father. It was quite a journey. But when they came to the man's home, they saw he was living in complete poverty. It's like house, it's just a few square meters, in very, very bad condition. And Srila Prabhupada said, and I told the man, why don't you come and live with us in Kolkata? And the man replied, no, I cannot leave. This is my home. And Srila Prabhupada immediately, and then I understood, this is Avaranatmika Shakti, covering potency. I had actually the same experience when I visited some relatives in my country, in Estonia, and some of them, they live in kind of remote place, some small village, or small town, and then not very happy life, not many opportunities, and kind of unhappy, and they express their dissatisfaction. But because of Avaranatmika Shakti, covering potency, they have even no idea coming into mind that, wow, maybe I could just go somewhere else, just search for new opportunities. It's just never crosses mind. They feel stuck, and so unhappy. Welcome. So, the covering potency. And in the case of King Prachinabarhi, he got a double slap. First of all, Prakshapatmika Shakti, throwing potency, cut him into fruitive activities, and then Avaranatmika Shakti made him think, oh, this is actually very nice. And this is generally, people are enchanted by three modes of material nature. And this is exactly the elements by which the fortress of Maya has been built. You mix these things together, three modes of material nature, bodily conception of life, and fruitive activities, and the result is material life. And then people in that consciousness, that state of existence, they're never able to understand anything transcendental. In Sanat Cantor, Srila Prabhupada explains that, he said it so nicely. Materialistic people who only possess knowledge of this restricted area of 4 billion miles of this this universe. Restricted area, yes, 4 billion miles only. They don't know anything about outside of this area, and this 4 billion miles is a dark portion of the creation of the Lord. It's a dark. Whereas we know, by the mercy of spiritual masters, that much greater portion is outside of that dark area. And this knowledge, for me personally, it really helps in book distribution. It may be sometimes overwhelming to meet and speak and stop this successful materialists, or really successful, really, and enjoying their life. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Jagannath Shri Gauranga ki jai. It can be daunting, to stop this material successful people, because you feel so small, trying to give this knowledge. But this, remembering that knowledge of materialistic people is restricted only to this 4 billion miles, and they don't know anything what is outside. Whereas our focus is mainly what is happening outside, the spiritual world. And also persons who consider as their leaders, their teachers, those who are only interested about knowledge within that dark area, they are considered andha, blind. So there's no point to follow blind leaders. And just like Prachinabarhi was ultimately successfully delivered by Narada Muni, he gave up his fruitive activities, his karma kanda sacrifices, and he became liberated. And Prachinabarhi's sons, Prachetas, previously we heard about how Prachetas were singing the song given by Lord Shiva, and they satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prachetas, they were not as attached as their father. So they were able to take to the direct process of hearing, chanting, praying, worshipping. But similarly, previously, Maharaj Uttanapada, he was in a similar situations like Prachinaparhi. He was also attached. He was attached to Suruchi, one of his queens. Remember, Dhruva Maharaj was brutally insulted by Suruchi, and his father didn't do anything because he was afraid of losing some favors from his queen. And so Dhruva Maharaj burst into tears and ran out. And after that, Narada met, of course, Dhruva in the forest to test him, and he saw this boy is very determined, so he gave him that method. And then he went back to Uttanapada after that incident. And so Uttanapada lamenting bitterly because his son was rudely insulted and he didn't do anything, and his son just left. And he didn't know, will he ever see him again? So he was just lamenting. You can imagine, you feel terrible. You're a parent, your child is insulted, you don't do anything and he leaves. So Uttanapada felt very bad. And then in that condition, Narada went to him and told him. He didn't give him transcendental knowledge because he's attached, he's not able to take it. Instead he said, don't worry, your son will very soon achieve spiritual perfection. And he will return very soon, and he will even liberate you. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj got liberation before Uttanapada. But when Dhruva Maharaj returned, then King Uttanapada felt inspiration and followed the path of his son, went to the forest to give up, and gave up all his attachments. Another pastime presenting a similar situation is when King Chitraketu, remember, right? He was really attached to his son. He wanted to have son first, he couldn't. He had how many thousands of queens? Millions. Millions of queens. Couldn't get a son, so finally he got son, but he was very attached, and Angira Muni came to him and saw his condition. He in that condition, it was useless to instruct him because of his material attachment. But later on, when his son died, so son died basically, and he was totally shocked, and at that moment he was able to give up his attachments. And then Angira and Narada came and gave him transcendental instructions, and he was able to hear and understand. So it is material attachment that is not allowing to understand. And material attachment, they come from, again, bodily conception of life, fruitive activities, and being under the influence of three modes of material nature. And under the influence of these elements, no one is able to understand actually what is the goal of life. Goal of life is self-realization. And anyone in the human form of life who doesn't utilize this life for self-realization is not using this body for what it's meant for. And for that person, the destination is pretty dark. But, well, we are very fortunate, but it also means how much responsibility those who know have. First of all, to not misuse this knowledge and this human form of life, and also the responsibility to give this knowledge to others. It's actually a responsibility of anyone who knows. Yeah, we may have doubts. What can I give? You know, I'm just a conditioned soul. We may not feel like perfected beings, but we know something. At least we have some understanding it. You know. We're not interested in gross materialistic life. It has lost flavor for us. It means we know something. And so our duty is to present this knowledge in a humble mood as a service. And this itself is helping us to deepen our realizations. I recently decided that now I will carry books with me, but whenever I have some walk or some time, I just stop it and do my little tiny effort of trying to share the knowledge, the gift. I don't know how long these classes nowadays go.
It's over.
It's over. Wow.
It's
8:30.
just including question and answer.
If you feel like, you're welcome to present your question or complaints or doubts or whatever. Yes, please.
Rajina Bali was overly attached to sense gratification. Overly attached, also too much attached. Now my question is, that means a little bit attached is okay?
You mean question is a little bit attached, okay?
Yeah. Because why he mentioned overly attached? He didn't say I was attached or overly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're correct. The verse itself says, us who are overly attached to fruitive activities, to realize the purpose of your story is very difficult. Overly attached means attached. Overly attached, any amount of attachment is a sign of influence of three modes of nature. And one cannot understand Krishna by being under the influence of three modes. Of course, there are, gradations. You can understand to some degree. But this is a very dangerous position because modes are constantly fighting with each other for supremacy, and you're in a very vulnerable position, even by being a little attached. But the solution is devotional service. Bhaktyamama vijanati yavanyascha tattvadaha. Nobody can understand the truth about Krishna without being engaged in devotional service. And devotional service means it brings you above the three modes. It liberates you from three modes. It means liberation from three modes means liberation from attachments. And this is why Narada Muni is so potent in his preaching. He's not attached. He's detached. It means he's not under the modes. And then his word has great potency to penetrate the hearts of anyone he meets. So if we also rise above modes by the help of devotional service, and thus become detached, our words have also potency. We can also we are able to help others much more effectively. So basically, that is Narada Muni's program. He goes around and tries to lift people above from modes, and then everything becomes clear. But regarding the question, is little attachment okay? It's not okay. But it of course takes a lot of work, serious work, as a sadhaka, to rise above these modes. You have a question?
No, I had a reflection on that
Okay.
actually. I also have questions, but first a reflection. I was thinking that if you're like overly attached, you don't even get the message that you should detach, right? And if you're just a little attached, then you know, oh, okay, I have to detach myself to get to Krishna. You cannot get to Krishna when you're a little attached, but I thought it could be okay to be little attached, and you know, like when you hear from the devotees or from the truth, then you know what to do, and then you will get perfection at some point. But when you're overly attached, then you're not even able to get any message.
Good.
But maybe it's
Yeah, good
just
point.
my reflection on that.
You said it's okay to be little attached. Depends from which platform you look. From absolute platform, it's non-negotiable. It's not that okay. But of course, we are under the shower. We are mangoes in a ripening process. So.
Ну вот то, что вы переведете, то, что Мата сказала про быть привязанным к среде преданных. Быть привязанным к среде преданных.
What Mataji said, that to be attached to the devotees, to the congregation of devotees.
Это то, что говорит Индрадюмна с вами, что мы можем быть привязаны, то, что у нас самый, мы хотим отдохнуть, мы едем в Вриндаван, мы хотим наслаждаться, там, отдыхать, мы вот поем киртаны, как бы, что мы можем быть привязаны, только эта привязанность должна быть истинной, а не ложной.
What Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj says, that we should be attached to something like, for example, we are going to rest in Vrindavan, not for somewhere else, and we should be attached to some atmosphere connected to Krishna.
Absolutely correct. Yes, because attachments means desires. So spirit soul cannot be without desires. But sadhus and shastras are recommending you transfer your attachment from material to sadhus, and this way your door for liberation is wide open. Very good point, yes. Our goal is to be attached, but to what? Not that exactly that Mayavadi style, detached for anything. We want to be attached to, yes, but Krishna. You had also questions, but I don't know about time here.
Vice President is.
Oh, Vice President. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she mentioned you can ask.
I was finding this point very interesting, that you said the intelligence is used for Sanskrit education actually, because it's
Material intelligence.
Yes. Oh.
There's difference. Spiritual intelligence, material intelligence.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask that because Prabhupada also mentions that when we have intelligence, we have to search for self-realization, and I wasn't understanding that point.
Well, yes, in one verse in Gita, Prabhupada explains that we should actually, Sri Krishna mentions that we should develop our spiritual intelligence. Krishna consciousness equals spiritual intelligence. I forgot the verse. The third chapter, second chapter. So material, as I mentioned, the function of material intelligence is to somehow or other hook senses with our senses with sense objects, and thus try to get happiness through that connection. And material intelligence is, it's very smart. Tries every possible way to make this happen. But in this way, material intelligence gets us further and further entangled, more and more entangled, and into trouble. That's it. But it's so bewildering that even though there are so many materially very intelligent people, although they're going to the wrong direction, but material intelligence makes you think, oh, I'm very smart, I'm very intelligent. Whereas spiritual intelligence is geared toward liberating the soul.
And this is also a process that you're transforming your material intelligence into spiritual.
Yeah, with the help of Shastra and sadhus. Maybe there's some other addition from your side. So, we should, sharpen our spiritual intelligence. We do this by devotional service, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Because you cannot continue reading Srila Prabhupada's books seriously and peacefully remain enjoying material life. It doesn't work. So, okay. Krantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
I found one verse from our intended ones in the English.
This is a little attachment, and still the past is often for material, for perfection. But there is a difference. I see this is how do you find this one? Yeah, but you were looking now for an answer.
No, I know this is worse before.
You knew it and you remembered it? Oh, wow.
But I didn't remember.
You were reading about it?
No.
I think
Such way you prepare for the school that so beautiful. These are other content. Because these are his teachings, he was worshiping.